Guys, the Chicken's here bringing you another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, I thought it would be helpful, even though we just posted that big live stream, just to do like a condensed version, Season 6 starter guide, what you need to upgrade. We're just going to go over the tech tree here. So, you'll see I've got a lot of different things upgraded, whatever, but there's four main things to focus on, guys. There's four things to focus on. So, we'll get into the order after, but flares, you want to have them maxed. Heavies, have to have them maxed. Flares, heavies, artilleries, very helpful to have maxed. And the heavy choppers, definitely get these maxed out and unlocked as soon as you can. Everything should be focused on your keys, on unlocking the heavy choppers first, because that is basically the only way to compete past rank 15, unless you're just facing like really bad kind of weird opponents. So in terms of the priority, I would go for, when you first start off, you can almost ignore the defenses, because you don't need to win a lot of battles at the start. That's where I kind of got a little bit into the other stuff, and I started wasting points here and there. You know, I maxed out things like cannons, and the defenses don't matter. They don't really make a huge difference. You can go without, like, I would just say upgrade them minimally, like upgrade them to level 2, so you just have them and you can spread them out a little bit. And say if they are just using all heavies, that it's just going to slow them down from simply walking to engine rooms, that they have to take out a couple buildings along the way. That's how you should look at defenses in the first little bit. Landing crafts, definitely max them out. They're cheap. You're going to need them maxed. Gunboat, upgrade it again. You know, once you get further along, I would max it out. Again, it's cheap. You're gonna need it anyways. It's nice to have the extra gunboat ability to use with the artillery. So, upgrade the flares. Work your way up. Upgrade, unlock, and max out the heavies. Then, I would max out the building health as well. I wouldn't say it's part of the four like major key upgrades that you need, but it helps a little bit because people are using artillery to take down one engine room, and then they're using either all heavies or heavies and choppers, depending on how many engines you have unlocked, to take down the other two or three. So, yeah, it helps defend that a little bit more than any defense is going to. So that's worth doing. And then next, you just want to unlock the next engine room as quickly as possible. That's going to give you more options in the tech tree. And the way you want to go, I would go the way that I went. I would unlock Kavan, even though he is expensive. It's cheaper than taking the long way around to get to the heavy chopper. So basically, I went like this. I went Kavan, artillery, because you're going to need the artillery again. Try to max this out if you can, but max out the heavy choppers first. So if you're light on resources, put them into this and then the artillery. But if you did this like properly and you didn't waste a bunch on defenses, like the chicken did, but these are very expensive to upgrade, so I'd be hard pressed to see a lot of people have them maxed out. I think a lot of people have them at level 4 that are able to take down engine rooms. I don't think they have them at max level, but go artillery, boom cannons. They can be a little bit helpful. They're going to slow down the heavies a little bit. Again, not worth pouring a ton of upgrades into. Just kind of minimally upgrade them to get a couple. And then I went shock bomb. Whoop. Then I went shock bomb. Troop damage is helpful because, you know, heavy choppers and heavies, they don't do a lot of damage. Again, that's kind of an after thought of these four. Unlock the rocket launchers. I unlocked the second one just to... I upgraded them once just to get the second one. Worth doing after the other stuff again. Medkits, and then heavy choppers. So once you get the heavy choppers, you max those out. That's when you're kind of where the chicken is at now. So this is where it gets a little bit kind of, you know, up in the air, preference, whatever. Troop health. I wouldn't pour a lot of points into this right away because I've been, you know, I unlocked it, I upgraded it once. My heavy choppers weren't dying before. They're not dying now. It's not necessary at the moment. Brick is probably going to be helpful with battle orders, just in terms of speed. I have Kavan right now. He does basically nothing. I just throw him out just to have an extra unit on the field. Building damage. Again, your defenses aren't stopping the heavy choppers. you know, if you put a lot of points into your other defenses, it might be worth it to upgrade the building damage, but it's not a huge priority. So in terms of the other stuff, so artillery, like we said, is worth doing. Troop damage, we said, is worth grabbing. Then we can kind of go back here, and if you haven't maxed out your landing crafts, your gunboat, make sure you do that. Upgrade minimally your other defenses. They're not that expensive, so it is worth doing. I think the max machine gun was like 270, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Mortars can't hit flying units, so be careful with those to not pour too many upgrades into them. But they are helpful at the start, especially if you're getting hit with riflemen and heavies a lot. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to cover in the tech tree. Getting the 4th engine is really going to open it up to the point where the artillery defense doesn't become as important because they're not going to be able to take down 2 engineers with gunboat energy. They're only going to have enough GV for 1. Hopefully, but you know, Barrage is coming soon, so I imagine that's going to play a factor yet, even though it hasn't unfolded in the meta just yet for the chicken. So I'll show you guys basically how the attacks go next, and once you get the heavy choppers, it's basically just this, and it's just rinse repeat. So you throw them all out. Your first flare wants to be before they hit the flags, right about there, because they start shooting at the target before they actually lock onto it. So we go right there, and then we hit the second engine room right before the first one dies. Your flare from here to the second engine, it's pretty quick, so you want to make sure that that one's almost basically dead before you throw it. This one, it's the opposite. It's going to take a second or a half second, so you want to throw it when you have like a quarter health left on that last engine room. And then this is where you unload all your artillery and throw your last flare, and there you go. And you end up with about 3 minutes 25 seconds doing it this way. Now, if you have maxed artillery, you do the same thing, but as soon as you take down the second engine, you throw all your artilleries on the third engine room, and you take it down instantly, and that saves you about, you know, 5 to 8 seconds, whatever that is. So I've been losing a lot, 3 minutes 25 seconds to about 3 minutes 35 seconds, and that's just because they have higher level artillery. So this guy didn't, and we'll show you his attack. There's a lot of people that are doing this too. They just don't know what the meta is yet, so they're using kind of spread out troops. But basically what they do is they use spread out heavy Zuka riflemen, and they take down buildings, as you can see this guy, and they take down buildings, they take down the 2 engine rooms, and then they use all their artillery at the top. And they can do that with a lower level artillery because they're getting more gunboat energy from taking out the other buildings. It's not the best way to go because it takes more time, obviously, to take out the buildings. It's not a bad strategy, but it's going to lose to heavy choppers. So it's just what a lot of people are doing. So if you're facing that, then, you know, that's just another reason to not have a ton of defenses out on your base, because it's just free gunboat energy, and it's not really going to help you in any way. So okay, this base looks a little bit harder, but we're going to be doing the exact same thing. So we'll go like this, and before they get to the flags, we're going to flare. Okay, so we're on that first one, and this second flare is going to be quite snappy, so we want to make sure that it... so we'll go right like that. And then we do nothing until they get there. So this is why you want to have max, or close to max flares, or upgrade your flares, because it wastes a lot of gunboat energy if you have to throw 2 or 3 out versus just throwing 1 out. Okay, so this one we were a little bit late. Okay. So now we're going up top, and I just want to make sure, the only thing that I'm looking at here is if I need to throw a second flare, which I don't think I do. So I'm going to throw out a bunch of artilleries. We're going to take down that machine gun, and that's going to be it. So 3 minutes and 20 seconds. That base was a little bit harder because it was spread out a little bit better. So we wasted a few seconds in there. Other than that, it's the same thing, man. Just rinse, repeat. So we'll see how he did. He got us in 3 minutes and 27 seconds, so... we'll see what happened there. So he went heavies and Zukas, and heavies and Zukas. Okay, this is new. Interesting. That could be a thing. That could be a thing. Now, if it starts to happen a lot, I'll believe it. But you know, for right now, I'm just gonna chalk that one up to bad timing, because that's definitely not a viable. It's definitely not as good as using the heavy choppers overall. So. This guy's base looks pretty weak, so he's probably... This is what your base should probably look like if you're doing things like optimally. Because you see, it's not really going to change the time here, the fact that he doesn't have any defenses. So 344. We're on to the second engine. And nice and long up here. Throw all of our artilleries up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you see right there, like we would finish at 330 if we had the max level artillery. I'll throw another flare on it just because, and boom, 3 minutes and 24 seconds. So basically, like your defense layouts, you just want to spread out your engine rooms. Don't keep them all close together. A lot of people are doing them where they keep 3 on the top on the far landing side, and they have all their defenses clustered around. Don't do that. Your defenses aren't going to win. This guy took us down again. So he used, oh, okay, so this guy had the max level artillery. That's what we were talking about. So yeah, he saved about 10 seconds or 5, 6, whatever seconds on his attack there. So that's why we lost. So that's basically season 6. That's what's going on. There was a bug at the beginning of the season. If you guys didn't know, everyone started at legendary X, so they had to shut it down, and they reset everybody back to what their rank should have been. So it's all fixed now. It's all good to go. And yeah, that is your starter guide for season 6. Let me know if that helped you out down below in the comments. Let me know if you have more tips and tricks, and I'll pin some of the better ones to try to help more people. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for today. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for everything season 6 and Warships. We will be covering all the metas and everything going forward, so make sure to stay tuned for that. As always, thank you so much for watching. That is going to wrap up the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative, and we'll see you next one, guys. Check it out. Bye.